Well, I'm here with a fun bunch. Hello, all to everybody who's joining us from the different parts of the world right now. We all know that in a world where standardization is necessary for scale, where do you start? How do you navigate through consistency and high quality training and outcomes? That's exactly what we'll be discussing now. The topic is opportunities for entrepreneurship in consumer products. And I have Jayesh Parekh with me, who is the managing director for Jungle Ventures. Jayesh is one of the founders of Sony Entertainment Television, a major television network launched in collaboration with Sony Japan. Jayesh, take over, please.
Thank you so much, Gunjan, and welcome to everyone. I want to first thank Murali Bukapatnam from TI Hyderabad for inviting me to moderate this panel for TGS. And thanks to everyone who's joined us today. First, some clarification. So my name is Jayesh Parekh, and I'm coming to you live from Singapore today. I'm a die-hard TI charter member. I'm an invited board member of TI Mumbai and on the board of TI Singapore. And I just want to clarify that I'm no longer a managing director of Jungle Ventures. So I'll just give you a quick background on myself, and then I'll ask three of my distinguished speakers to introduce themselves, and then we'll get on with the session here. So I just a quick background is that I grew up in Calcutta and went to undergraduate engineering at MS University of Baroda. And so that's probably one of the reasons why I've been asked to moderate this session with three Gujaratis from Ahmedabad. I went to IIM Calcutta. I think that this is a global summit, so we will keep it to English for right now, Piruzbhai. Thank you. So I went to IIM Calcutta after my undergrad, but halfway through I dropped out and I went to the University of Texas at Austin. And so I moved to IBM in Houston and I worked in the oil sector, after which I was invited to join IBM Offshore Operations in Singapore. So IBM Offshore Operations there was no IBM in India back then. And so we were a mercenary group who started IBM from Singapore, and we used to travel to India every other week, and it was hugely successful. So IBM finally physically moved to India, and now in India, the largest headcount for IBM is in India as against even USA. So I worked totally for 12 and a half years in IBM, and after which I did 9 startups, and one of them was a huge success, which is I was a co-founder of Sony Entertainment Television. So most of you may know that it's a successful network of TV channels, including SET and Max and 6 and Mix. And we finally successfully exited. Then I introduced 2 of my founder friends who formed Jungle Ventures. And so Jungle Ventures is a tech fund which is based out of Singapore, but invests in Southeast Asia and India. And I was a managing partner in Fund 1 and 2. Now in Fund 3, I am a senior advisor. And Jungle Ventures is about $350 million US under management. The other fortunate thing is that I'm also an investor in Avishkar Capital, which is a social impact fund. And I ended up being on 3 of the investment committees of Avishkar Capital. Avishkar Group is has an asset under management of about $1.1 billion. So they've done fairly well. And last year, I got the good fortune to publish a book. And the book is basically a compilation of interviews. And it's called What Shall We Do With All This Money? It's inspiring perspectives on wealth. So again, whether you're affluent or trying to be one, the book offers you insights into money, and it gives you a brief glimpse of the life journey of successful individuals, many of whom are TI Charter members, just by the way. And it also sheds light on each one's perspective on wealth and how it can be used to make one's life more fulfilling. It's a book of interviews, as I mentioned, of people who are chairmen, senior executives, entrepreneurs, businessmen, lawyers, private bankers, social impactors. So there are folks in there like Mr. Ratan Tata, Shekhar Kapoor, the famous director, Professor Jagdish Sheth, people like TVS Mohandas Pai, Rohini Nilekani, etc. Again, you can find all information about it on allthismoney.com. So now coming to the subject at hand today, we are going to discuss opportunities for entrepreneurs in consumer products. So, to begin with, I was just looking at some data, and USA continues to lead the way in consumer products investment. Based on a CB Insights report, food, gaming, and fitness is leading the way in investment this year in consumer products group. Sustainability and health remain at the top of mind. And we saw alternative proteins and protein fermentation companies start to scale. So this is the new wave and companies like Impossible and Eat Just and Perfect Day, Memphis Meats. These are sort of new wave companies that are getting hugely funded. Southeast Asia and ASEAN is growing rapidly. So, for example, top 5 cities in ASEAN and Southeast Asia have similar population as 5 cities in USA at about 52 million people. Top 10 have 74 million people against the top 10 in USA are 80 million people. So again, and Southeast Asian countries, I think the population is going to double, is currently double that of USA, but it's supposed to grow to $4 trillion economy by 2030. So I think it's a huge opportunity. And because this is a global summit, I thought I'd start with that as a background, but then let me now bring it closer to home. I want to welcome our 3 distinguished speakers. We have Darshan Bhai Patel, the founder of Paras Pharmaceuticals. We have Piruz Bhai Khambata, who's the chairman and MD of Rasna. Welcome. And Parag Bhai Desai, who's the executive director of Wagh Bakri Tea Group. Each one of them will introduce themselves and their companies, and then inspire you to this topic of opportunities for entrepreneurship in the consumer products. And then following their introductions of themselves and their company, we'll have a few free-flowing conversations followed by question and answers. So please feel free to post questions on the site. So may I start with you, Piruz Bhai? Please.
You would like me to first give a small intro or also make my presentation?
Yeah, why don't you start with an introduction for all 3 of you, and then we'll come back and start the presentations.
Okay, and then the simple introduction, I'm Mr. Khambata. I am chairman of Rasna, but more importantly, I always believe that Rasna is a role model for entrepreneurship of a Make in India brand. And we have molded our company, our work and profile on the same thing. And I'm going to speak more about that when possibly in the part of the presentation. But let me tell everybody that this is something which I tell that for us, always the country comes first. And in our business also, you like it or not, we always look at it in a very nationalistic manner, that how we can provide the cheapest soft drink, nutritious, to the most common man or the person who cannot afford it. And for us, his pleasure in the summer is more important than any money. And I have never counted my success in terms of number of money I have made. I always counted my success of how many people I have made happy. This is what I can introduce myself. And I still feel that.
Yeah, Piruz Bhai, actually, if you don't mind, I also want to sort of dig a little bit for where did you grow up, where are you now, and just give a little background of your journey.
I was born in Pune, but that's where because my mother was from Pune. But of course, I'm from all said and done, I'm Ahmedabadi, and my father chose not to send me to any of these fancy schools. And he always believed that I should be doing in almost a public school. So I got my schooling in Gujarat Law Society, and I insisted he wanted to put me in a college also like that, but I insisted on Xavier's because probably there are good-looking girls were there in Xavier's. So that was the only reason I almost fought with him to get into Xavier's. And then I went here and there abroad for courses, and I also by choice did law while I was working. But to be very honest with you, I started my journey very quickly. Means I was in 10th standard, I used to go to the plant, and around 11th standard, I used to take the whole batch in the plant. In our company, we are still making product ourselves. Unlike a lot of other companies, we are a technocrat family, so you'll be surprised. There's a master batch, what I call a secret formula, what they call in Coca-Cola that Formula X. We also have a Rasna X formula, and it is still made by either me or somebody in the family. And honestly, the formula is still a secret. Nobody knows what goes in terms of that X formula.
Thank you so much, Piruz Bhai.
Very happy doing that. And if you ask me, it keeps us fresh, brimming, and gives us work than working in a boardroom, to put it that way.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Piruz Bhai. May I request you, Darshan Bhai, to introduce yourself?
See, I am Darshan Patel, Managing Director, Chairman, Vini Cosmetic. Earlier, I was Managing Director for Paras Pharmaceutical, which was sold to Reckitt in 2010. And I started Vini Cosmetic again in 2010. As far as my background is concerned, I was born in Gujarat, but brought up at a place called Sambalpur in Orissa state. So I was there doing my schooling and college or there for 20 years. So from a small town, I migrated again to a big place called Ahmedabad. When I came to Ahmedabad, I never knew how to speak Gujarati, how to read Gujarati, but slowly I learned that thing. I'm a BSc chemistry graduate, never had been gone to any institute to learn any marketing thing. Whatever I have learned, that is out of my experience. BSc chemistry is a very mystery subject. Same thing goes for marketing also. Marketing consumer product is also a very mysterious thing. It is not a easy thing. And it took me 7 years to learn that thing. And once I learned that tricks of the trade and how consumer react on certain things, from that day till now, I have never looked back. Vinny Cosmetic has one brand called Fog, which is India's and SAARC countries' #1 brand. We are exporting to 65 countries, and my company, I have two big investor also within my company who keep on investing into us, and we keep on growing ourselves.
Darshan bhai, thank you so much. And may I request you, Parag bhai, to please introduce yourself?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Parag Desai. I am the Executive Director of the Wagh Bakri Tea Group, and I am also a fourth generation entrepreneur. I was born and brought up in Ahmedabad and went to missionary school, all boys school, St. Xavier's Loyola at that time. Then after doing 1 year of law, went into college, and postgraduate, I was blessed to be in New York, where I did my postgraduate in international business. Going out of India at a young age during that time in the 90s was quite a pleasant experience. And having met a lot of successful entrepreneurs, we decided as a company once I came back that we want to expand in a very, very methodical way. So I can be credited by a lot of things, but one of the things is I took the legacy of my family forward. We are a family of freedom fighters. My great-grandfather came to India from Durban, South Africa, where he was childhood friends with Mahatma Gandhi. He sent his son to boarding school, and his son became childhood friends with Mahatma Gandhi. So we are very Indian, and we have a very strong track record of being very high in integrity, honesty, and pro-India. So whenever we get a chance, we try to do a lot of giving back to society and motivating people. I myself take time out and spend a lot of time with students, entrepreneurs, startups, etc., wherein we get to engage with people who are looking at doing newer things in life. So good meeting all of you, and I look forward to doing a more detailed presentation about my company later on.
Look forward to that. Thank you so much, Parag bhai. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Piruz bhai, may I request you to then get started and just give us a thesis on our current topic, which is opportunities for entrepreneurship in consumer products.
I have got two sections. I am starting with the core values of entrepreneurship, because if you don't have a proper value, you can't do nothing in life. So I believe this whole country and this whole world is what it is today because people want just to go ahead and do commercialization of everything, and there is no value principle. And second, I will be then talking of the Atmanirbhar Bharat opportunity, which our Prime Minister has provided. And I believe it's a huge opportunity, not only for Indians living in India, but for people who are probably settled anywhere in the world, but who want to invest in India. And I believe that's a huge opportunity for people like Jayesh. You can also be part of this Atmanirbhar Bharat program of the government. So I am not going to talk on Rasna for the simple reason that I think too much has been talked about it. Too much is there on the net. And I don't want to sell myself too much. Everybody knows Rasna and what I do. So coming to the core values of entrepreneurship, and this was only one slide. And I believe this is what principle I have followed, and when I meet any youngsters, I tell all of them to follow, because I believe, once again, if you have principles, if you lose principles, you have nothing. So number one is that any venture is for immortality, and what I really don't like is the best startups are made in India, but eventually they sell to the MNCs of the world. So what is the fun? भैया तुमने इतना मेहनत किया, you put precious sweat in it, and then one fine day at a young age you sold off to some XYZ and he's making all the money. On the contrary, you make it big and make it conquer the world. Our best brains are the ones in IT, be it for finding the first whatever internet or whatever XYZ ABC, but they somehow they don't think of this. So my first principle is, when you start up something, it is not for sale, period. It is for immortality. You have to, this will be, you will die, but your brand or your what you have started will live for generations. And that's what you have started. Otherwise, there's no point. I have started 2 foundations. This is my way of immortality. Eventual foundation will always survive me, foster and a. Number 2 is, a lot of people don't understand that there is a huge difference between direct and indirect control. You need direct control. If you have somebody else who is playing on you, you are a puppet. You are not you are not a startup. You are a puppet in somebody's hand because he has given you so many things. He has written on the back corner that he's controlling the board. So I believe you should have it directly in control. This is my number 2. Respect equity and debt. If you borrow even 1 rupee, you have to give it back. This whole problem of our industry is today, unfortunately, I am telling you, businessmen are treated as politicians and whatever, police and all bureaucrats, because of this very simple thing that we have been accused of swindling of crores of people of the banks. And I'm very ashamed of it. Very ashamed of it. So I honestly believe you need to respect equity. When you buy, you even borrow 1 rupee of somebody, you have to give it back with interest. If you give equity, you have to ensure it gives more. Last thing you have to do is set up your put up your funds abroad, take money Mauritius, put a house in Delhi or London, and do all the types of left, right, six, seven. We know how to do it, but don't do it. And that's where it comes to the fact which I'm going to talk about later, but I'll talk now because there's a link issue, is corporate governance. You don't need government to tell you, corporate government standards. You have to follow corporate governance, ethics, work sustainability, and with the spirit of giving back to society. Government doesn't need a CSR act. I started giving 10% of my profit to society 15 years back. Probably when I was younger, there was no CSR act. No CSR act was even put before parliament. So give back to society, sustainability, ethics, corporate governance. And the big conference I have, people were telling me the advantage of going public. I have not gone public. People were telling me advantages of becoming a limited company. I proudly said in a conference, I am an unlimited liability company. And I'm very proud about it so that people can trust me. I am ready to take unlimited liability. I'm not saying I am limiting my liability by capital. One defined day I'm going. That's what I'm saying. I am ready to take unlimited liability because it is my business. And last is, entrepreneurship gets lost when people start becoming merchant bankers and put finance brains in because they cuddle you. So be free from merchant bankers and all these corporate honchos. Be an entrepreneur. Work with your instinct. Take decisions based on instinct, not based on all those MBA type principles and you have to first take a decision for the product, for the company, not for the balance sheet. So these are the core principles which I have been following in terms of entrepreneurship. And of course, I'm not a teacher, but I will request people that they should follow these type of principles and they can make their own core values. And these values are something which I want to pass on to my second generation. Of course, I'm a 3rd generation, to the 4th generation, 5th generation. I want this whole thing to go on, to put it that way. Now, coming to the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, I believe the best thing about Corona is a very bad thing, but the best thing about the Corona is that our Prime Minister and his team have used Corona to catalyze economy. And in the last 8 months, I have been possibly having Zooms at least every fortnight with some or the other minister or secretary on this, including the various packages. And I'm so happy, because of less of time, I'll just go on quickly, that the whole Atmanirbhar package has been given, the Indian giant has awakened. And today everybody is talking about be local for local, self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat. What companies like Rasta used to talk of from years is now probably everybody is talking. So I believe it is very important now to take this opportunity to make India completely self-reliant. So there should be zero import, I personally believe, and maximum export. I have taken the decision that I will not import anything. Even I used to hardly import, but whatever I used to import also, we will borrow steel technology, but we will make it ourselves in India or get somebody, a job worker, to make it. And we will ensure that we export maximum with Indian manufacturing, not abroad manufacturing, because then the wealth is going abroad. We want to keep the wealth in India. So make India the factory to the world, make industry self-reliant is our package. And the government has announced almost 20 plus schemes on various things, including fisheries and including NABARD loans and including honey, special packages, khadi, a lot of defense, GEM. I believe entrepreneurs should really study what the government is offering. Many times, I'm part of a lot of associations, people say, yeah, dena government ko baki mein, government has already announced. You don't know what they have announced. You first check what government has announced. So ultimately, the government can only take the horse to the water. You can't make it drink, no. So there are a lot of things, but I will try to especially focus myself on these announcements. The changes in the Essential Commodity Act. So all of us can now get more into commodity trading, commodity manufacturing, commodity marketing. Contract Farming Act is the best thing which has happened. When you invest in a farm, is the best investment today. You can grow a baby corn of your choice, give technology to the farmer, make it for the world, pack it for the world. Investment is low. You invest in the farmland. The big advantage is you're also investing in the farm economy. Take agriculture marketing reforms. There's no need of APMC. Every paper is being talking about it. Labor has been reformed. Fixed term employment is there. And now production link incentive schemes are coming that if you grow, government is going to give you incentive to grow further. My request is let us study all this type of projects of the government and take on up ourselves. In terms of regulations, I am closely working with the government. There are a lot of things on EODB level which is left, package commodity order which is left. We need a lot of MDA schemes for Make in India brand which is coming. I somehow believe that India has signed very badly the FTAs and PTAs. And I have been saying from day one, and I have been presentation myself to the Commerce Minister, change the FTAs and PTAs. It is very good we didn't sign RCF. Put safeguard duty measures, put anti-dumping measures. We want good quality products to come, not bad quality products. And ensure that the heavy tariffs which foreigners have put, Europeans in particular, Indian food products, at one end they want freedom to their alcohol to come in. They want freedom to their cars to come in. When it comes to our agri products, the Europeans and Americans want to put barriers. So it can't be that way. We need to really ensure that the tariffs on agriculture and food products abroad should really come down because we have to export. That is the reason. So I believe COVID is about half full opportunity, half empty. I am talking of the full. And I'm going to, the next 2 minutes only now take on how we can revive FMCG through entrepreneurship by following the principles of revive. And revive is basically the new dictum of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And number one comes to rural market. Height of COVID we have seen, what has really saved the companies in food is rural. And companies like Rasna, we were making 1 rupee, 2 rupee products. I got big MBA consultants telling me, Mr. Khambata, you're not doing any value for yourself, 5 rupee, 10 rupee products. That is what in COVID has saved us. What has saved the people are the glucose biscuits of the world which are sold and the basic noodles are sold. People have not eaten the premium and fancy foods. So basic food, basic product in rural areas, working in the farms, working at the agriculture space, working in the FMCG in the farm level. This is what is going to give India, the FMCG companies, the growth. And I would encourage startups first to think of rural consumption, growth in rural, manufacture in rural, and think of rural, rural, rural. This is my number one principle in Revive. Number two, we have learned last 7 months, if somebody tells me what I have learned, e-com. Our CLS become 300 times in e-com. Especially Grofers, Flipkart, Big Baskets, our own sites, integrating, using AI to deliver to the customer, reaching social media. So this is I don't need to talk about it. A lot of people know about it, but e-com with AI and technology and their usage in FMCG has really a huge opportunity, including that for the technology providers also for FMCG. And today it is most important. In fact, we are putting up a separate vertical of e-com in Rasna very soon. And I am still looking at some investments in e-com because here is where there is a huge market opportunity, including directly linking the farmer to the consumer with e-com and AI. So that is the opportunity. Vocal for local. 10 years back, I ran an ad. I am Indian, buy Indian. People said, don't run it. People only want American products. Today, reverse is happening. People are very proud to drink local products. And that's why, we are running this campaign on Times Now. This is actual campaign. We are using Rohit Sharma saying, be Indian, buy Indian products. And I think people are really seeing some merit in it. Last 6 months, we have revised our portfolio like many others. We have introduced Sani-Safe range of sanitizers. We have Honey Vita, we have Honey, and we are also now test marketing Chavanprash. And the wellness and immunity building products is really now going to be the forefront to take our growth further. Do what the market wants. Market wants immunity, give them immunity. Market wants sanitation, give them sanitation. We have to give what the market wants. And we have got differentiated products because honey is the differentiator in 2 of our products which we have recently launched. And the other big option now is visibility on the live marketplace. Gone are the days when you need to do pan order booking. Typical Indian FMCG, it is Unilever or P&G or Coke or Pepsi or Rasna. We take a book and we do pan order booking in the market. Gone are those days. Now we need apps on our salesmen, apps with our distributors, app on the retailers, to have a live marketplace, work with other such integrators, develop our own apps. And this is the need of the hour. Then link finance and credit platforms, logistic platforms, huge opportunity. I personally see in the next few years only that the whole marketplace will now move on this platform very soon. I am seeing in the wholesale, what I call typical wholesale, where people sit on iPads and give orders. So this is the way we are working forward. And last, which Rasna is doing right from many years, is export to the world. We are in 50 countries. You can see this is live photos of Rasna in Africa and Bangladesh, and this is Southeast Asia, and of course Middle East and America. But I'm very proud recently of Rasna is almost in every African country is there. Rasna is the soft drink in every African country because we have a USP there. And India still accounts for only less than 1% of global FMCG trade. Somehow I believe this is the biggest weakness of Indian FMCG. We have never made for the world. So how can we make for the world? About 100% of our turnover can come from export. If our Indian turnover is 100, our export turnover can be 100. All of us. So how do we do it? And really more is into value for money products. And the government has given too many incentives. I think we need to take the government's incentives, work with the government. I'm still working with them on a of what I call Brand India fund abroad, which is we are still working. That how do we create a Make in India brand marketing abroad like Incredible India? We need to work with the government on MDA schemes and all to make it export to the world. So in summary, we can revive FMCG in this post-COVID world with rural, e-com, vocal for local, innovation in wellness, health, hygiene, visibility, especially with a live marketplace, and most important, export to the world. So this is my simple idea on this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Piruz Bhai. And we'll come back to you in the Q&A session. But in the meantime, just continuing forward, Darshan Bhai, may I request you to make some your opening comments?
For me, entrepreneurship has only one meaning, and that is passion. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you should have passion, and passion will drive you to whatever extent you want to reach. So if I have to tell you about my story of entrepreneurship, started in 1985 till now, it is that passion which is driving me day in, day out. To our credit, to my team's credit, we could have created few of the India's brands, which are household brands over India. And those can be created only with one thing, that is, if you understand the needs and wants of the consumer very well, you will be able to create products which will service them in a manner in which they want to. So whatever we have created till now has a very distinctive flavor that is about differentiation, distinctiveness, and disruption. So we believe in this 3D and we keep on working on this thing. I don't have a proper presentation, Jayesh Bhai. I'd be glad to answer your questions on any specific thing on entrepreneurship or brand related thing. So let somebody else complete his presentation, then we'll talk on it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Darshan Bhai. And so, Parag Bhai, may I request you to make your opening comments, please?
Thank you. So can I have my presentation, please? One of the good things of being the last speaker is that you don't have to say all the good things that I was said earlier. So I'm going to restrict myself to a few things. I'm very impressed with today's topic, which is opportunities for entrepreneurship in consumer products. Can we have the next slide, please? So Waghbakri Tea Group, as most people must be aware, we are being exported to more than 40 countries, and we are the third largest packet tea brand in India. In terms of being in the private space and family managed, we are the largest in the world. Next slide, please. Our annual sales is more than 200 million. We are proud to be Indian since 1892. And last year we were blessed. In January, we had a large celebration in Ahmedabad where we called all our, larger business partners, well-wishers, families. And this was just before COVID. So we think we are very blessed that way. So like I said, we have a strong international presence and we are working with the who's and who. We just celebrated our 25 years in North America. We are doing a lot of co-working, co-planning with the Southeast Asia market, with the Middle East. And we look at every culture differently, every tea drinking habit differently, every blend differently. Next slide, please. A lot of people ask me, what is the logic of the logo and the name? So quickly, in 1919, when my grandfather, thanks to his influence with Mahatma Gandhi, brought his family of 22 people, sat on a ship from Durban, Africa, where they used to go. They were very successful tea planters. They came to Ahmedabad because Gandhiji was in Sabarmati Ashram, and they started the freedom struggle. Tea was the only thing they knew. So they started a small shop in old Ahmedabad, and in 1919 they wanted to name the shop. Their belief was in equality, but because the British ruled us, there was no equality in the market. So one day in the evening, they used to sit down with saints, and one of the saints suggested, in those days Bollywood was mainly restricted to things like Russian circuses we used to tour India. So once a saint said that your tea is so good that when a tiger drinks it and the goat drinks it, they become friends. And that's what influenced him. So we launched our brand in 1990. The current logo became a modern avatar in 1934, and which converted to this current one in 2019. So our belief in equality and our belief in honesty, integrity, and basically the quality of tea is something that has stood the test of time. And everywhere, even now, we say that we are in the business of building relationships world over. Yeah, so that's what I said about thing. And tea is the fabric of India. It's a social drink today. So that is what we are very proud of. What I want to tell young entrepreneurs is that when we started our journey from Africa, we had no money. There was no banking system. There was no one who knew anyone. They just sat on a ship with the belief that we will be successful. And because Gandhiji has influenced us, we want to be. So what did we have? We actually had this one certificate from Mahatma Gandhi, who in his unique handwriting has written that he knew my great-grandfather as a successful and honest tea planter. That's it. So in those days, the certificate actually people would respect and they would believe. And this is what has stood the test of time, that when you refer someone or when someone works for you. So today we are a very professional company. What proudly we can say that anyone who joined me has retired with me. This is true for 90% of our people. So when we do new recruitments, the biggest shock they get is, here in this world, everyone changes jobs every 2-3 years, currently maybe every 1 year. And how you can have people who have been with you for 25-30 years. So this is something that we are very proud of as our culture and ecosystem, with which we consider every employee as part of family. So we believe that, we have a simple rule. Darshan Bhai gave a lot of, good words on, how to disrupt and how to, be different. Virus also said the same thing. We believe, in addition to that, we say that honesty is the best policy. So I'm very honest about my quality. I'm very honest about my trade partners. I'm very honest with my people. We don't, do a lot of hanky-panky. Like, I compete globally with the largest of the largest brands, most of them being multinationals, and all of them have, the best superstar or the best guy endorsing the brand. So we don't believe in all that. We say that, I'm giving you, my biggest scheme to you is the quality I'm giving you at the price. So everywhere we are in the premium segment, and my customer loyalty is more than 80% in India. And wherever I go, we are very sure that more than 50% of my customers come back to me only because of the quality and my policy to be very honest. We have more than 200 SKUs, and we are in the business of sourcing teas from around 1400 tea gardens across the world. Globally, there are more than 14,000 tea gardens, but we work with the industry at the back end. We are part of something called the Trust Tea. So Trust Tea is a movement wherein the Indian Tea Board, the Indian manufacturers, the top three like Unilever, Tata, and Wagpakri, we go back and we work with the farmers as to which are the best practices which they do, which pesticides to use, not to use, when to stop plucking, when to start plucking. So we have a large team which goes around in these farms. And in India, as you know, most of the farmers are marginal or small farmers, so they hardly have any education on such things. And most of my markets globally are markets which have the highest standards of quality. So we engage with the back end at the same time with the front end to make sure they get the tea which they are used to drinking and even a better cup of tea. Next, please. So which are the type of teas? Now, anyone who's ever tried any tea, I make it. So we were the first to start organic teas. We have a lot of classic teas. Our iced tea range have Indian flavors, like it brings our Indianness into it. Currently during COVID, we are always, looking at more than 1,000% jump in customer use of our green teas. So, tea continues to be the cheapest and the healthiest beverage in the world. And we are very proud to be associated with the journey that it has done till now. As part of our social endeavor, we started the tea launch movement around 10 years back. Maybe, it came more out of my influence internationally, where I used to see a lot of cafes, etc. And in India, we started seeing coffee chains, but no tea ones. So we used to engage with the government, with the tea board, with the commerce secretary, and said that there should be something to be done. So they had done something which is on the lines of, I don't know, a lot of people are aware or not, but the tea board used to run these tea houses everywhere. And one of them is still running next to the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai in Ration Bhavan. And those are, the laid back culture. We wanted to bring tea back to its youthfulness, flavor. So I was lucky enough to have started and spearheaded this movement from, the first one in Jaipur to the, latest one in Baroda. And during COVID, I'm happy to say we inaugurated 3 more tea lounges, and it is rocking. So our belief in tea and value addition and tea being the fabric of the nation, I believe that, the time has come that we should be proud of our culture, our habits, and rather than, blindly aping the West, the Indianness should be enjoyed. So in every tea lounge, even the menu has a lot of local Indian foods, which once people try, they said, in my house, while, my grandmother was there, she used to make it, or my mother used to make it. Now we have smaller families, so we mostly eat out or order from, the Zomato, Swiggy, etc. Like I said, our range is from pure single source garden teas, pure Darjeeling teas. Darjeeling is the champagne of teas. We are one of the largest connoisseurs of teas, and we engage with a lot of tea lovers who, write to us in advance that, when the first crop comes, we want to have it. To our organic teas, to our gourmet teas. Gourmet teas is a large part of our tea lounge portfolio, and a lot of people come and they just, are excited about how romantic tea can be. Thank you. Like I said, today being digital is imperative. We have the first mover advantage. When I came back from the States after doing my MBA in the late 90s, we were the first to open the first B2C website called buytea.com. And I remember the days I used to, travel in train, go to Bombay, meet the IBI people, meet the SBI people. In those days, credit cards were not easily acceptable. People were not using cards in India, but credit cards outside India were a big thing. So that's when, I loved this journey of, being part of the change. Today, unlike today, overseas people don't want to use credit cards. They have gone on digital pay. Indians love counting their credit cards. So we are one of the first companies to have been, at this digital space, and we are also the largest. Thank you. Next. So globally, we are very proud of our presence. We personally make sure that every country we change our blends according to the tea making habits, drinking habits. A lot of you would not know that, one of the biggest challenges we have is how to make sure that the tea is as good in the quality of milk and quality of water that is available in different parts of India and different parts of the world. So that's what we do. We are mainly blenders, packeters, and marketeers of good quality tea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parag bhai. Very interesting. All 3 of you journeys have been fantastic. You've done extremely well and very successful in your consumer product group. I just want to start, and we don't have enough time to go through for everyone to make a comment. So we'll just restrict it to, each question I will ask and bounce it to 1 or 2 people max. But then that way we'll get a slightly broader viewpoints here.
But Darshan, secret of success we have not got. So you should probe Darshan further.
Yeah, so
Because
I'm just
actually
coming first to
speaking,
him.
my daughter is telling me that he is a living legend.
Fantastic.
My daughter actually wants to
Thank
work
you.
for him. So
Thank
I
you,
think
Piruz
with
bhai.
having Darshan
Thank you, Piruz
here,
bhai.
we have not pricked
Thank you,
him
Piruz
enough.
bhai. So I think I want to start first with the technology space, right? I mean, we have entrepreneurs on this TIE Global Summit, and these are new age entrepreneurs, right? They all want to get engaged in the technology space more than at any other time in the history of entrepreneurship. So starting with you, Darshan bhai, can you please give us a sense on the size and scope of consumer tech space, especially how tech is becoming increasingly a huge opportunity?
Yash bhai, tech space consumer is growing in the sense that okay, now Indian consumer is learning to use this tech space, and COVID has made them learn more and more. Uh, would that will become a habit or not? We don't know today. But yes, tech space is going to remain. It will keep on growing. Uh, India Indian consumer, I am restricting myself to India only. Indian consumer, for them, tech versus enjoyment of going out is very different because for them, shopping from home and shopping from, say, a shop, going to shop is an entertainment for them. So I don't think they are going to leave that particular habit, going to shop. But yes, wherever there will be time constraint, consumer will keep on using tech space for their convenience more and more, and it is going to grow.
Yeah, thank you. Just a small follow on that, Parag bhai, for you is that one is, of course, the end user behavior, but in creating these products and services in the consumer tech space, do you see that technology is playing an important part?
Yeah, so I deal with, like I said, 14,000 tea gardens at the back end. And every day, tea is a product of something called photosynthesis, right? So, tea depends on the amount of rainfall, the amount of sunshine that has been done, and then they have 7 days plucking pattern. So, how do I get a report on quality? Everything is tech driven. You know, we used to have, there was a time 10 years back, we used to have our reliance on brokers, etc., and we used to do phone calls. Now everything's changed. So we get it in our format and our timeline. Also, tea is still sold through the physical auction system. Again, that's very tech driven. So every Tuesday there is an auction in Calcutta, Wednesday in Assam, Thursday in South India, etc. So globally, whenever we buy tea, it is all tech driven. When we sell tea, today technology, like I heard from one of the speakers ahead, that today the days of people using a paper and pen to make reports, etc., is gone. So sitting in my office, I don't see a time, uh, maybe say a year from now, wherein I would get, in every street of India, what is the productivity of my person, what are the offtakes, what are the choices. Today I have to, rely a little bit on market research and much more on feet on the ground kind of thing as to, because I'll give you a small example. We launched instant coffee in the end of 2019, and everyone felt that coffee drinking states would love this kind of coffee. So all our market research, product development was that. Today, my coffee sells more in the non-coffee drinking states and the regions rather than this, because people's habits change. So technology would bring us closer to customers, I would say.
Great. I want to come to Piruz bhai now. Piruz bhai, you mentioned about your intellectual property. So I just wonder about the facet of consumer products business. In that, how do you protect this IP in this space? Again, you did mention about how you are protecting it, but in general, also if you can make some comments.
In my opinion, in India, the law is very good, but the implementation of law is very weak. So if IP in FMC space, you have to be so vigilant that you have to be always on your go to ensure that if there is any duplicacy, immediately you nip in the bud. Because otherwise that fellow will claim parallel usage and he will say, I'm a parallel owner of the trademark. So it is like a police and thieves will do the thieving job, police has to be after them. So cat mouse game is there. So every day, every month we see some duplicate. and we try to pick it. And nowadays duplicates are also using the internet. So in fact, I have written to Flipkart, Amazon, all of them in advance. Yeah, I am a registered user, and if by chance if you are going to sell any of those duplicates, including a Rasna water bottle, I am going to take you to court. Forget that fellow. The later I will take because I may not find him, but Amazon I will find. So so you have to be very vigilant. And second, I think as regards high courts are concerned, you take cases and make role models of yourself. So what we have got today 9 rulings from higher courts in our favor. So now we are protected because we have 9 rulings. So that clearly means that our mark is ours. And we have also registered it in around 60, 70 countries in the world, what I call a defensive registration. And in some countries, we have registered in all the classes. Like Bangladesh, I have got Rasna registered in all the classes. Can you believe? Even if I'm not making. So we have to be vigilant. We have to spend money because all said and done, that is the value which you have today. What is my valuation? If at all I do it, I'm not going to do it. It's the brand and the flavor and that special concoction which makes Rasna apart than anybody else. That is the beauty. That is that mix which is sets apart.
Okay.
There is a question here, if you don't mind, Jay.
Yes.
It is a very interesting question on the chat box. It is saying that why do consumers still prefer the foreign brand?
Yeah.
That
So
is one
Pirush bhai, what
question
I was going to do is, if you don't mind, the following, I'm going to take the questions from other people a bit later, if you're okay with it.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem.
So
But that is because actually speaking, that Atmanirbhar Bharat question is a very
Of
good
course,
question.
I will come back to you. I'll give you time to reply to that. Of course.
But the IP, I think I'm done with
Okay,
the
fine.
IP.
So I think the other thing is that Piruz bhai, you and Parag bhai, both of you mentioned online e-commerce opportunity, right? So now there are online platforms like Amazon and Flipkart, Reliance, Jio, and consumers are moving more and more to online buying, as both of you mentioned. And so has the power of the FMCG companies itself reduced in the supply chain, do you think? And are the higher margins taken away by these giants, affecting the profits at all? And
I really don't think so, because see, people's lifestyles are changing, and the e-commerce sites also, they charge a high margin. So there is no denying the fact that at the end of the day, the margin is given here or there. But today lifestyles are changing. Like Darshan bhai said, in many parts of India, even today, people love to go shopping. It is like, what do we do on Sunday? Let's go shopping. But now they have an alternate lifestyle, and they don't want, and today, there is no place for parking. Earlier times, the density of cars was not that much. So it's a forced habit change, which people have done. And for staples like tea, I would say that, it becomes easier for people to go shopping for luxurious products rather than go for staples. Because you look at the population of our nation, you look at the hygiene standards in the shop, etc. Especially in post-COVID times, I'm seeing this. Because even though we have a vaccine, the mask is going to stay, and the threat of another COVID attack is going to be also there. So I think lifestyle changes, and brands will need to adapt to lifestyle changes.
Okay, terrific. Darshan bhai, any comments?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I think,
so I think,
Jayesh,
yeah, go
your
ahead.
question was a very specific question, and I did mention about it. And I think the answer is that it's a separate opportunity. The glucose biscuits and the Rasna 2 rupee and 5 rupee will still move from the brick and mortar and the pan galla, and I'll make my money. But the Amazon gives me an opportunity to sell an iced tea in a peach flavor. It gives me that to test it out. Similarly, it gives me an opportunity to sell more SKUs. I can't be placing, let us say, 100 SKUs on a big bazaar. The listing charges will kill me. On e-com, I can. So I can have a differential pricing. I can sell my export product. So I am seeing, if you ask me the way I am seeing it, I am seeing all separate P&Ls. GT P&L is separate in my company. Modern trade, brick and mortar is separate. And e-com also P&L, now I have 2 P&Ls. One is the B2B P&L, which you have forgotten. And the B2B P&L is a more interesting P&L than the B2C P&L. When I say the B2B P&L is the Udan types, where basically people take from us and give it there. And my understanding is the 2 platforms which are, I'm giving you a secret out, but I don't mind sharing with you. The best profitability, if you want to make, is you make from a pan galla and a B2B app. If you anytime do a profitability of a pan galla, because he takes the least margin, and B2B because he takes the highest volume but higher margin, but you still the logistic cost goes down. So the best P&L is in these 2 models: the B2B app and the pan galla sales. And the least margin also, I should tell you, is the brick and mortar big shop whom we are very proud. Let us say, Hyper City. Oh my God, I put my money there, because he takes all your money in visibility and listing, and you are left with nothing. It becomes a show window.
Okay. So
go ahead,
Darshan bhai.
I will add one more point. It will be depending from category to category. So there would be some set of category which will require look me, touch me, feel me, experience me, then buy me. So those categories would be always there on shop and things will. I'll give you example of my fragrance business also. So we have around 40 fragrances. So if and fragrances are bought after they smell that thing. If they like, then and then they buy, right? On online platform, you'll not be able to smell the newer version of this thing. So older version will keep on coming on that platform, but any new introduction has to go to marketplace where consumer has to go there. He needs to experience that thing, have a feel of that thing, then decide ki, okay, this I like or not, then they will take that decision. Once they will like, okay, next time they can go and buy on e-com platform, that can happen. But it will vary from category to category, how things will shape up on e-com.
Yeah, I absolutely, completely agree with you. And so this one question, which is very important, is that this whole consumer business space, would each one of you invest in a consumer product startup, and you look at it as a threat or opportunity? Firuz bhai, maybe you can go first.
Invest in some other with somebody else's or my own business?
No. So will you invest in all these entrepreneurs today are starting a consumer tech company?
I am waiting. I can give you my email ID on an open platform, pak@rasnainternational.com. I am very happy to invest with young startups for the simple reason that I do believe that today that they are the people who are going to make the merry-go. And obviously, I'll be very happy to fund them. I will also be very happy to use my distribution platform to help them. So I'll be very happy to work with young startups, especially people who are ready to put up ventures in the agri space. I did mention, but I was not agri space with the new farm laws. We have to be with the government. I would want youngsters to put up a unit and let us say a packing, grading, sorting center in an agri center, and we link it to the consumer using our marketing network and AI, and also brand it. Huge opportunity in the fresh fruits. I'm not talking process. Today, huge opportunity in fresh, huge opportunity in commoditization. So I'll be very happy to fund. So my email ID is pak@rasnainternational.com. My first option is, startups in the agri and rural space. And number two, the wellness space. So if anybody has good wellness products, something which is vitamin D natural, vitamin C natural, some extracts of, let us say, some plants. And, these are the type of things like, let us say, papaya extract. So I'll be very happy. And this is the way forward. This is the way forward.
Excellent. Darshan bhai?
Yeah, I keep on investing into startup. I've already invested in few startup. Plus, wherever I invest, I would like to mentor that startup also, because out of my own experience on B2C space, I always look for, okay, somebody has a good idea and this requires a real backing from my type of person. I go all out and help them into do that thing. So if even I am not invested, I don't mind mentoring young startup companies who would like to take our guidance.
Thank you. Parag bhai?
Sure. So addition to what the other two people said, I would like to also, because I engage with a lot of these people, and I see a lot of people who don't have a vision of cash flow, who just want another round of funding and then eventually sell out a major part of equity. So I wouldn't want to have a meeting of minds first before I invest my time and money in any such new startup.
Great. So I just want to, we're almost running out of time, but I want to again pick up on the question that we've received from Andre Johnson. And his question is, why do elite group consumers still prefer imported cosmetics, whereas India has the capability to produce better equivalents than foreign variants? So Darshan bhai, let's start with you.
See, I think imported cosmetic is at a very, very small this thing. It is not a big market for India. So still, if we have to see whatever cosmetic we use as India, so India, we start our day with one product, which is Fair and Lovely. We end our day with Fair and Lovely. So there is no other cosmetic product in skincare, if I have to say that thing. But yes, slowly color cosmetic is picking up. So color cosmetic, okay, initially there was lacking of manufacturing of color cosmetic in India, but now color cosmetic is also shaping up in India. good packaging is also happening. So it's a matter of time where cosmetic products coming from, it's a crime to import cosmetic product to India. I will say that way. It is better to produce here. I'll give you an example of my own brand Fog, which is a fragrance product. And when we went to Dubai, our salespeople, even distributor there, they used to say, made in India fragrance, nobody will buy in Dubai. We said, okay, plus let us first go and place it over Dubai market, then we'll see it is being bought or not. And to everybody's surprise, in 6 months' time, we became number 3 brand in UAE. So it is all myth. India also produces good cosmetic product. So, okay, this imported, so-called imported cosmetic product is going to a very different demographic at a very high level. Those who have a lot of money, those who have traveled outside of India, they go and buy those type of thing. Otherwise, masses, they keep on buying Indian products only.
Yeah. Firuz bhai, any final comments on that?
See, my comment is that 90s, I started the business, Kevin business. They all told me that all FDI is allowed in food, so all Indian will be wiped up. And there is a big A everybody wanted to sell, including Thumbs Up got sold, and everybody told him, Mr. Kambata, Thumbs Up gets sold, what will happen to you? And there were some MNCs who came to me and say, if we don't buy you, we will kill you and whatnot. I said, do what you want. And I have seen at least 10 launches by MNCs with the foreign brands. And luckily, we have not only killed them in India, we are killing them abroad also. So honestly speaking, I believe that Rasna is the best example of how an Indian company, if it does things rightly in terms of taste, in terms of distribution, in terms of branding in particular, advertisements, we can kill any competition in the world. And honestly, I believe a lot of our youngsters and a lot of our Indian companies, they get afraid कि चलो भाई आज पैसा बना दूं कल क्या होगा. Or I would tell them, kal zyada paisa milega, if at all you want to sell. So I am saying this foreign thing is not there in India. Indians would love Indian products. You give them good products, you will last a lifetime. If you give them bad products, you will not last anything. Forget India and foreign. That is not important. Give a good product, honest price is important.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Firuz bhai. Final comment from you, Parag bhai, also, please.
So I would say that, today everyone has to focus more on the product quality and the relevance of the product, differentiation, rather than, things like equity and valuation. And any startup which does this is bound to succeed. So I think that's what I'm saying in a nutshell.
Okay, good. Darshan bhai, final comment from you before we wrap up.
See, final comment would be, I will beg to differ from, say, why somebody does business. Business is about making money, right? So that should be always there in the mind. Value creation has to happen for yourself and for others also who are part and parcel of your company. So I believe in growing the company, then create another business, do another round of making money. And once I will stop doing that thing, right, then I will, find out the way to do some charity out of my money, rather than, if at all I am doing business, I would like to make more and more money out.
Good. I'm just so glad that we've run out of time, because this topic itself, whether you build a business to keep or whether you do a business to sell, is a topic where we need 1 hour with all three of you gentlemen one day. But right now our time is up, and I really enjoyed this interaction and these comments that each one of you made. I want to thank each one of you three gentlemen for taking the time out today. I also specifically want to thank Murali and Pradeep Dhobale and Piali Chattopadhyay for organizing this session, and best wishes. Take care.
Thank you.
Jayesh, thank you for your moderation. Jayesh, we should thank you. You did a good job.
Thank you
so much.
Right.
Bye, Firuz bhai.
Thank you,
Bye,
Jayesh.
Parag bhai.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
You very rightly
Bye.
said, how do you even encapsulate all of these generations and decades of information that they wanted to pass on to us in 60 minutes? But you did great. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the other gentlemen. Over to the next session.